Welcome back to my channel. So today's video, I'm very pleased to announce that I got like tons of new eyeshadow palettes to swatch for you guys, to talk to you guys about for literally $10 each. I'm not joking, like I was shocked by the price point and for the quality and the color selection that I received. I absolutely needed to make a video for you guys. For any of you guys out there who are just trying to save money or who are just getting into makeup and you don't want to kind of upfront pay so much for an eyeshadow palette, totally have you covered here. I'm really excited for this for so many different reasons, you guys. If you guys have questions for me, of course, leave them down below. Subscribe to my channel if you guys are new. I would really love your support. Just a quick rundown. I basically got all these shadows from a website called Hush. They also have an app and it's super easy to just buy tons of makeup. They have like all the makeup you could think of, from like bronzers, foundations, lipsticks, eyeshadows, everything, and many different brands within that website, so you can kind of just buy everything all at once. A lot of familiar brands that I already know. I saw Maybelline, LA Girl, I saw Sigma, I saw just like a lot of companies that I was already familiar with, but I also was introduced to many other ones. So the majority of the eyeshadow palettes that I have right now are from Bad Habit. Never heard of their brand before, but you guys will see my verdict on those. You will see me swatch each color, talk about each palette. I have 8 palettes in total, so hopefully this video doesn't run too long. But yeah, I don't want to ramble too much right now because I have a lot of things to show you guys. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So starting off with this palette right here, this is called the Royals palette and it looks like this. The packaging is really beautiful. It's from a brand called Bad Habit. The majority of these palettes are from that brand. And when you open it up, it has a beautiful mirror and it has these beautiful shades right here. Now, as you guys could probably tell, this looks a lot like the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette, and I have that one and I'm absolutely obsessed with that palette. So the fact that they are selling such a beautiful palette with the same types of colors for $10, I'm super excited to see and show you guys the swatches, and if this can replace that, then we are very lucky. So they basically have a color called Queen, a color called Treasury. Next to that we have a Prime Rose. We have a Noble, which is a really pretty neutral type of color. We have Honor. We have Regal. We have Grand, which is a deeper brown. We have Crown, which is a beautiful shimmery gold. We have Opulent. We have Air. We have Throne. We have Reign. We have Monarch, and we have Majesty. Okay, so regarding this palette, what I noticed is that the shimmers are really beautiful. They glide on so easily. I really love the shimmers. Now, the matte colors are still really pretty. They have nice pigment and they do the job, but I definitely did notice that it was a little bit less of a creamy consistency, a little bit more of a chalky consistency. And there was a little bit of fallout, but nothing major. I mean, I noticed that on most palettes in general. I don't mind a bit of fallout, but I definitely did notice that the swatches, as I was swatching, I definitely needed to kind of go back with my finger more than once just to give that really opaque, kind of consistent type of swatch color. But so far, so good. Like, honestly, I don't mind a bit of fallout. Moving on to the next palette. This is from Bad Habit as well, and it's called the Aphrodite palette, and it looks like this. When you open it up, these are the colors. So stunning. I can't get over it. This looks so much like the Huda Beauty palette. I think it was the Desert Dusk palette or the Rose Gold edition, one of the two. The glitters look exactly like it. Honestly, I'm just so excited to swatch it for you guys and show you guys firsthand how stunning this palette is, besides just the color selection. So first we have Sparks, which is a really pretty gold shimmer. Next to that we have Tease. We have Admire. Then we have Flirt, a really pretty pink color. We have Lust. We have Romance. Then we have Adore. This is like a beautiful copper shimmer color. Then we have Crush. We have Passion. Then we have Blushing. We have Seduction, a really pretty deep brown color. We have Jealousy, it has a bit more of a mauve undertone. We have Infatuation. I've never used a color like this. It's so pretty. I love the shimmers. Beauty, as you guys could probably tell, has been nicely swatched. I am absolutely obsessed with this deep rose gold type of shimmer shade. Then we have Euphoria. We have Love, which is so beautiful. It's like a deeper pink, red, rosy type of shimmer color. Then we have Koi. And lastly, we have a black color, which is called Heartbeat. Okay, so for the Aphrodite palette, I'm absolutely blown away. Because the thing is, like, when I swatch these palettes, I only swatch like 1 or 2 colors, but like swatching every single color right now and making this video is making me realize and reaffirm a lot of my thoughts that I had. This palette is my absolute favorite. Like, I can tell you that off the bat. Not only are the colors beautiful, but the formula just feels even smoother than the other one. And I love the feeling as I'm swatching it, even the mattes, like I'm noticing a lot of color payoff and it's just easier to glide on. I love it. As I mentioned, there is fallout in some of them. For the glitters in particular, I hope you guys can see how beautiful, pigmented, and rich these colors look when swatched. Absolutely stunning. I even had tried some on my eye. I'm telling you guys, it's beautiful. Basically the matte, you can definitely build it up, but they do have a beautiful opaque color. And for the glitters, so creamy. It's literally like a cream as you're feeling it on your hands and you warm it up with your fingers. You apply that on your lid. It is stunning. Such a pop of color instantly. To really make sure that the glitters stay put and that they stick on the eye well, I would definitely recommend using some Fix Plus just so that it has something to adhere to. But even if you don't, like when I was doing my swatches, I didn't use any Fix Plus. Obviously, I just did it straight from the eyeshadow palette. You see how much pigment there is. This palette is absolutely my favorite. I absolutely, if I had to recommend one, it'd probably be this one. I mean, there's so many beautiful ones, which I will continue to show you. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but really, I'm obsessed with this palette and I cannot believe it's $10. Moving on to the next palette, we have Inferno right here. Now I can tell right away that this palette's going to be all warm tones and I love that. That's like one of my favorites. This is also from the brand called Bad Habit, and when you open it up, it looks like this. So stunning. I can't get over the colors here. So beautiful for like all months of the year. Literally, I can do so much with this. It's really my style. So starting off with the very first color, we have White Hot, which is a very peachy light shimmer shade. Next to that, we have Baked. Then we have Lit, which is a really pretty, like warm shimmer color. I can't get over how beautiful this is. Next to that, we have Blaze, which is very similar to Lit, but it has a little bit more of a red undertone to it. Then we have Warmth. Then we have Smolder, which is gorgeous. It's super dark, a deep mauve type of shade. Now below on the next row, we have Glow. Next to that, we have Flames, which again, all the shimmer colors catch my eye instantly. They're beautiful. Then we have Bonfire, which is a really pretty mocha type of mid color. Then we have Burn. Next, we have Hotspot. And finally, we have Ignite, which is a really stunning shimmer deep brown color. Okay, so now just talking about my basic thoughts on the Inferno palette. As I mentioned, the color selection is right up my alley. I love warm shades. They have a beautiful selection of both shimmer shades and matte shades that just work really well together. As I was swatching it, I definitely noticed the shimmer shades I'm just obsessed with. So far for all palettes, including this one, the shimmer shades are beautiful. After one swipe, you get like a beautiful swatch. So pigmented, opaque, and just smooth, just glides on like butter. I really love it. I actually noticed that the shimmers in this palette versus the Aphrodite palette, there's less fallout, which is really awesome. So I don't even feel the need to necessarily spray my brush with Fix Plus if I were to put it on the eye. Noticing the matte, again, a bit more fallout, and I do need to kind of go in a little bit more with my finger, really kind of work my way with my finger just to get as much color as possible to get a really even opaque type of swatch. However, I didn't notice any patchiness or anything like that. It wasn't too chalky. It feels really, really nice on my finger as I am swatching it. It just requires a little bit more of building up, which, I mean, I don't mind. So all in all, this palette is amazing, and again, $10. So I do really want to show you how the shimmers look on the eye. I'm actually really obsessed with how they swatch, so I really, really want to see how it works on the eye, which I haven't even tried yet. So let's go on with that. I'm going to start by actually using one of the matte colors as well to see how that works all together. I'm going to go in with Hotspot, which is right here, and I'm going to put that along the crease area. So it definitely instantly goes on the eye. I don't know if you guys can see, like, I am using a light hand too. I apologize if it's not going to be the cleanest look here. It's just really to see how it works on the actual eye. But I'm really loving the color payoff that I'm receiving right now, and it blends really nicely. Now, I'm not going to spray my brush with Fix Plus. I really want to see how the shimmers apply without it. So I'm going to go in with Blaze because it's screaming my name right now. I love it. And I'm going to apply that on the lid. Oh my god. I knew it would apply nicely. Like, I knew it, but like, this is shocking. So, I mean, one swipe without Fix Plus, you guys can see it is gorgeous. I'm just, yeah, at a loss for words. I'm so excited. I'm going to be using these all the time now. This is like just as good as like some of the more high-end things I have. So I don't have enough good things to say, honestly. Now to end it off, I'm just going to go a little bit with the color Burn right here on the outer corners. I mean, you guys, I am definitely really, really excited about this. Loving how it's sitting on my eye right now, and I did this in like 3 seconds. So now that we're actually applying things on the eye, I kind of want to go back to the Aphrodite palette to really test out the glitter, because those glitters were like crazy like glittery, pigmented, and I kind of want to see how they wear on the eye. So I'm going back right now. I'm gonna go get that. I'm basically going to go in with Romance on the crease area, trying to match this eye as much as possible. So definitely a nice amount of pigment, not as pigmented as the other one in terms of the matte shade, but then again, I'm applying a super light hand because I know how pigmented they could be. So let me just go in with this brush and try. So it definitely has pigment, as you guys can see. It's just gliding on nicely. No patchiness. Really into it. Moving on, let's do the fun part, the glitters. So I've already tried Beauty a lot of times. I've tried this one. I do want to try Adore right now. Just want to see if everything is consistent. And that color is so beautiful too. Just gonna dip it on my brush without Fix Plus. So yeah, this one's a lot more like glittery. But I find that this shadow, as I mentioned when I was swatching, although you guys could see, like, it's like a beautiful pigment, I feel like the glitters would stick together and adhere better if I sprayed it, so that's what I'll be doing. And look at the, wow. Now on the outer corners, I'm just gonna go in with a Jealousy to finish that off. And yeah, you guys, like, I knew I would love this, but I wanted to prove it, and I'm really happy that I did. Okay, you guys, so now I actually want to switch things up and show you guys the highlight kits that I received. So these were the only ones that are not eyeshadows, and I mean, I'm sure you could use them as eyeshadows as well, but I'm really excited to show you guys, switch it up a little. So this is the Paradise kit, and this is the Oasis kit, and they are both, again, from Bad Habit. Let's open these bad boys up. Starting with the Paradise kit, these are the colors that we are getting. Really, really, really beautiful. On the left side right here, we have Sun Kissed, which is a really pretty shade that I feel like can suit a lot of different skin tones. It's not too light, but moving on, I can tell you off the bat that White Sands is going to be extremely light for me. But we're gonna see how they swatch and the formula and stuff like that. Next, we have Resting Beach Face, which is a golden, really pretty color as well. And then finally, we have Mai Tai, which is a very pinky type of medium shimmer shade. Moving on to the Oasis palette, these are the colors. So Pina Colada is the first one. This is definitely more of a yellowy, medium shimmer shade right here. Next to that, we have Nude Beach, which is slightly lighter and a little bit less yellow, but still has that golden undertone. Underneath, we have Tan Lines. This definitely looks more bronzy. I feel like this would be more suited for a bit of a darker complexion. And finally, we have Vacay, which is a very pinky shimmer shade. I feel like the darker shades on me are going to work well for like a glowy bronzer and a blush type of situation, and these lighter colors could definitely work as a beautiful highlight. So as you guys can see from all these swatches, there's definitely some similar ones, but they all have such high levels of pigment. You guys can see, like, you can really easily tell the goldens from the pinks, from the bronzes, from the whites. Like, you can really see all the colors. When I was actually like swatching it on my hand, I was like constantly telling myself, wait, is this a powder or is this a cream? Like, I literally couldn't tell. It was the weirdest thing ever. It's like an in-between type of formula. So that's what's giving it such a beautiful high level amount of pigment right now. And it feels really creamy. It's not powdery. There is a bit of fallout though, as you guys can see maybe, but it's absolutely stunning on my arm. I really wonder how this works on the face. I'm debating if I should use like my fingers to warm up the product or if I should go in with a brush. So what we can do is kind of try each side and see what works better. So I will start off by using a brush. This is just a regular brush that I use from Kruo, and I'm going to go in with the color Nude Beach from this palette right here. I'll show you guys how it looks like. And that definitely gives a really pretty glow to the face. It's nothing extremely blinding, but I find that you can definitely have that wet type of look, and it goes very nicely with my skin complexion, and that's what I feel like looks natural. Yeah, the pigment's not crazy, but it's definitely there, and I find that the lights are actually diffusing it because in real life I definitely see it. You can for sure build it up, as I'm not sure if you guys can tell on camera, but you definitely could build this up. I like to apply it like that. It's really stunning. What's really great about these highlights is that you can honestly use them as eyeshadows too. I feel like there's a lot of versatility in that way. If you don't like to use every single color on the face, completely understandable. The darker colors I can use as a lid shade and stuff like that. Even the light color I can use in the inner corners. So it's definitely great in that regard, but I really love the effect this is giving me with the brush. Going in with the Paradise palette, I'm going to try the Resting Beach Face color, which is this one. I'm going to try it with my hands and see what happens. Oh, okay, yeah. Way too pigmented. I mean, it definitely gives a lot more pigment when you do that, but looks very bad. Like, no. I would recommend using a brush. It'll give a nice diffused look, and at least you can build it up. Versus here now, I'm going to have to really kind of blend that out and hope for the best. I mean, at least I was able to blend it out, which is nice. But yeah, way too much pigment if you use your hands. I would not do that. I actually want to go in with White Sands in the inner corners of my eye because I know this is going to be very light for my face. Stunning inner corner color. Really nice. I love it. Now, I absolutely love this pink, but I feel like this is going to wear better as a blush. So I actually want to try it out as a kind of shimmer blush. It's going to give me a really pretty dewy glow, which I really love because I do have drier skin. So I'm like, pack on the glow. Let's try that out. Going in with my regular blush brush, I'm just going to tap that off a little bit and then work it in the apples of my cheeks. I don't know if you guys can see, but it gives a beautiful flush of pink on the cheeks. It's really nothing drastic, which is actually good because for blush, I really like it to look diffused and natural. like it's a natural color on your face and it's not just like a bunch of makeup. So, and I love the fact that it has that added glow. It's really making my face look extremely hydrated. I'm really, really loving it. I'm just going to go in with the other pink shade from the Oasis palette on the other side of my cheek. Again, very similar effect. I really love this. It does give a lot of shine though. So if you guys are in the least bit oily naturally, I wouldn't recommend doing what I'm doing right now. Retching Beach Face, I will put a little bit on up here. Oh wow, do you see how pigmented that is? Yeah, you need to go with a light hand if you're using your fingers to apply the product because it has a lot of pigment. So next palette I actually want to talk about was the only palette within the range that was not $10. This was actually $16, but it comes with 30 different colors in the palette. It's definitely bigger. Okay, so you guys can see, look at this beautiful range. I'm obsessed. It has such a mix of like dark shimmers, light pastels. So first we have a Moonlight right here, which is a very bright, shimmery, golden type of color. Next we have a purpley shimmer color called Fairy. Next we have Enamored, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. It's just a matte yellow shade. Then after that we have Nymph. Next to that, a really cool original color, very deep. It's called Illusion and it has like really like flecks of like light gold in there. It's really nice. Next to that, we have Cold Hearted, which is a very black color. Nothing more to describe there. Very black matte shade. Next line, we have Mary, which is a bit more of a deep golden color right here. Next, we have Awaken. After that, we have Bashful. I'm obsessed with this like mid-toned pink shimmer color. Then we have Mischief. Next to that, we have Slumber, a very, very deep color with like blue sparkles in there. Really gorgeous and original. Next, we have Foolish. It's a very mocha type of brown matte shade. Next line, we have Young Love, which is a very light, almost white color with shimmer. Next, we have Magical. After that, we have Charmed. Similar color range, it's just more of a pink color, really gorgeous shimmer shade. Next to that, a little bit deeper, is called Flower. Then we have Sneaky. And last on this row, we have Spite. A lot of fallout here. Moving on to the second to last row, we have Dewdrop. Next, we have a peachy matte shade called Dream. Next, we have a Lover. After that, we have Wonder. Definitely feel creamier and have more pigment in one swipe. After that, like, I'm obsessed. This shade is called Autumn. It really does remind me of a fall color. I love it. Really like copper kind of red shimmer medium shade. Very, very stunning. Then we have Faux. And last row, first color, we have Vow. It's a light matte color with a tint of yellow. Next, we have Wings. Beautiful neutral matte shade. Next, we have Baddie. After that, we have Vexed. Second to last, we have Vixen. And final color in the palette is called Spellbound, which is so original. It has almost like a tint of green in there, and it's a beautiful shimmer shade. Okay, so now that we're talking about the Midsummer Night's palette, upon swatching all of them, I definitely noticed, again, the shimmer shades for the most part were really, really beautiful. They just feel creamier and buttery, and they just really glide on nicely. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot, but I just feel like, given that like all of these are from the same brand, Bad Habit, I just feel like they are very similar in terms of formula. Of course, there are differences though. Like I'm noticing some of the shimmer shades are definitely more creamy and glide on easier than others. A few of them I do have to dip in more than once, but at the end of the day, all the swatches, especially the shimmer ones, I was able to get a really beautiful, clean, kind of smooth swatch without any chalkiness, patchiness, or anything like that. There is fallout for almost every single color though, as mentioned a few times. I noticed though in this palette in particular, this was probably one of my least favorites in terms of formula compared to the other palettes. I don't know what it is. They are very similar in formula, but some of the shades just weren't working for me as much. Like I kept having to go back, trying to like build it up and stuff. I mean, none of the swatches turned out badly, but Slumber, for example, was like a very deep color with like blue flecks of sparkles in there. It's a really gorgeous shade on the pan, but when I was trying to kind of layer it on top to swatch nicely, it was almost like coming off because I kept having to, and it was just chalkier and just more fallout, and it just wasn't as like pop and pigmented and just like smooth as some of the other ones. And I noticed that for a lot of the matte shades as well. Like Foolish was also doing that to me. It's just like that dark brown shade. It just wasn't swatching as nicely. So just notice for the most part, it's more the matte dark shades that do that, if anything. For the most part, I have no issues with the shimmer shades, and I just feel like the color range is really, really original and beautiful. So I'm really excited to have this in my collection nonetheless. And yeah, let's move on. Alright guys, we have 2 palettes left. Let's do this. I feel like I've been sitting on this chair for 4 hours, because I probably have. Okay, so I want to go in with this one first. Actually, it's like really cool packaging and different, and it's from a different brand. This is called Sugar, and it's from a brand called Face Candy, and I do want to see how the formula and all of that kind of compares to a lot of the other shadows from Bad Habit. So this is how the palette looks like. Very original, cute packaging. I really like it. The colors are also very cute. So let's start here at the very top. We have a color called Blazed. Next to it, we have a color called Cherry Pie, a very cute pinky shimmer shade. Next, we have a color called Cinnamon Sugar. Next to that, a very interesting color. It's called Blueberry Pie. Definitely much more patchy of a color when swatched. Next, we have a Gingerbread, a deeper brown shimmer shade. Next, we have a Brownie. It's a matte brown. Next line, we have a color called Latte. Next to that, we have Sugar and Spice. Next to that, we have Hot Cocoa. I really love these types of warm, mid-neutral brown colors. Really gorgeous transition shades, but can also really work well outer corners, even for a lid color. It's a really, really nice shade. Next to that, it's slightly darker, and it is called a Chocolate Cake. Next, we have Mocha. And last on this line, we have a Blackberry Tart, which is a very deep mauve color with blue sparkles. Now, last line for this palette, we have a color called Whipped Cream. It is a very light, almost pretty much white color. Next, we have a Creme Brulee. After that, we have a color called Candy. It's almost like a salmon-y, rosy type of shimmer color. Next, we have S'mores. After that, we have a color called Pistachio. I really, really like this color. I've never tried a color like that before. It's a green shimmer shade. I feel like it would look so stunning and really bring out my eye color because I do have hazel eyes, so I am excited on trying this out. And lastly, we do have a color called Licorice. or licorice, I don't know. And it's basically like a darker version of that color. It's like a deeper green shimmer shade. Just my final thoughts after I swatched everything. I definitely noticed that the formula is very comparable to the Bad Habit eyeshadows that I was showing you guys before, in the sense that they are pretty opaque. They feel really pretty on the hand, on the finger as I'm swatching everything. I did have to go back in maybe 2-3 times per swatch just to kind of make it just like a full swatch and everything. But what I noticed that was a little bit different about this formula was that there was actually less fallout. But with that being said, I did have to go in a little bit more per shade to kind of get a full swatch compared to the other ones. Comparable again were the shimmer shades. I just find in general that the shimmer shades just feel creamier and that there's just more pigment along the way. Like for some of them, especially pistachio and licorice, the 2 end shades, I was like in shock as I was swatching. It was like one swatch, beautiful on my arm. Really, really love the colors. The only color I did not like and that just didn't swatch beautifully was Blueberry Pie. Unfortunately, it's so gorgeous in the pan, but it definitely was not full pigment, and as I was trying to build it up, it just seemed kind of patchy to me and just looked a little chalkier. So yeah, not a huge fan, but I mean, all the other colors worked really well, and I really love this palette all in all. Okay, so the very last palette that I have is from Bad Habit, and it's called Retro Love, and I really, really love all the packaging of these. Super cute. When you open it up, what does this remind you of, you guys? Instantly, when I look at these colors, I think the Anastasia Beverly Hills Subculture palette. Am I right? Really, really beautiful. I already played with a few of these. They're very stunning. So let's start from the very top. This color right here is called Psychedelic. So this is a very kind of light shimmer color. Wow. When you swatch this color, I don't know if you guys can tell, but it's literally iridescent white to pink. Next to that, we have a color called Icon. It's a very yellowy shimmer shade, really stunning. Very creamy and beautifully pigmented. Next, we have a color called Hippie. Next to that, we have a color called Pop. Not a huge fan of the way Pop is swatching. I just find that it's a little bit more patchy. After that, we have a color called Rebel. I really love this color, you guys. It's literally matching my nails on the dot. I really, really like this color. It's so pretty for fall. It's like that burnt type of yellowy orangey shade. Next, we have a color called Maud. It's a dark kind of greenish undertoned color here. Matte shade. Next to that, another matte shade called Rock and Roll. It's a beautiful burgundy. Yeah, the matte shades are just not as smooth. On the following line, we have Peace, which is literally a peach color. Next, a more salmon color is called the Flower Power. After that, we have a color called Youth, which is a brownish type of warm matte shade. Next, my favorite clearly from the swatches, I have Revolution. It is so, so pretty. It's like a coppery, really shimmery color. Wow, so creamy and just glides. After that, we have a deep mauve matte color called Nostalgia. Again, Nostalgia is a chalkier product, and I need to kind of go back in more than once to kind of get an even swatch. Next, we have a color called Fab, very similar to Rebel, but it is a little bit more on the orange side. And lastly, in the palette, we have a deep kind of royal blue muted color called Rebel Love. Okay, so now talking about the Retro Love palette, I really, really love the shades of it as mentioned. I think it's super stunning. What I did notice upon swatching it is because the majority of the palette is made up of matte shades, and as mentioned before, the matte shades aren't as smooth in terms of swatches as the creamy shades. So all the ones that are kind of shimmer are creamier, they swatch right away, beautifully opaque. I mean, I've mentioned that more than once, so I'm sure you guys get the drift there. But yeah, the majority are matte. As you guys can see, like the pigment is there, you can definitely build it up, but yes, you do need to build it up, especially for the swatches. I do really love it, and actually I do want to see how the matte shades play on my lower lash line, just so that we can see how it kind of wears on the face. So going in with Rock and Roll right here, I really want to see how that matte shade plays out under the lower lash line. So definitely it has pigment and looks beautiful, but as predicted, I do need to go kind of dip back in my brush more than once to get, you know, the full pigment. As long as it's not patchy on the eye and you can kind of build it up, I really don't mind that. So yeah, I mean, that's basically my final verdict. The colors are gorgeous. I love that there was like iridescence there, and I just didn't expect it. It was super gorgeous. All the shimmer shades, as mentioned, were really, really great. The mattes, yeah, they definitely needed to be worked up, but I feel like they're still very wearable and beautiful on the eye, and they do deliver beautiful pigment if you kind of go in more than once. So that is it for today's video, you guys. I am so impressed with these palettes, the way that they swatch, the way that they look on the eye especially. I was just like blown away. I'm so excited to try these out for different makeup looks. If there's a specific palette that you guys liked and you really want me to do more of an in-depth tutorial, I would be happy to do so. I already have some ideas in mind, so I'm really excited to experiment further with these palettes. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video and that it helped you guys out. Of course, leave me some comments and some questions down below so I can help you guys out further if you guys need, or if you guys just want to connect with me, I would really love that as well. And yeah, that is it for today's video. I'm really excited to see you guys in the next one, and I hope you guys have an amazing week. Bye, guys.